Greetings folks on YouTube, Tahumata1888, doing what's called favorite story elements of the DC Extended Universe from Man of Steel all the way up to Wonder Woman. The reason I'm doing this is because we only got like less than 6 days until the Justice League comes out. So here we have 2013's Man of Steel, based on the Superman origins, Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, based on the conflict between Batman and Superman, Suicide Squad, based on like the villains of Arkham and Gotham, led by Amanda Waller, and Wonder Woman, predating the story of Diana Prince and her fight in World War. Let's start over with each film at a time. Okay, the favorite part of Man of Steel is that it does define the origin. It does define origin story. At the same time, it does have a story of its own, where Superman needs to prove himself to the world that he's not a threat, and prove the Kryptonians are not threats at all. Whereas Zod, on the other hand, plots to turn Earth into Krypton, which makes the people of Earth convinced that Krypton is a threat, and Superman's easily torn out to stop Zod, even if it means to sacrifice Krypton. And some of the best moments in the film was when Superman tries to destroy the world engine, because otherwise, as Perry and his companions in the Daily Planet were on the point of dying, and since the terraforming was going to kill them. And yes, I know it's not that necessary for Superman to twist Zod's neck in the end of the fight between those two. Thing is, even if he did cover Zod's eyes, Superman would still feel the agony of the eye beams, because he and Zod are equals because they're Kryptonians. Another favorite part of the film is that his first scene of flight, when the way he struggles, he definitely looks like he's struggling harder. And Henry Cavill being Superman to me is the right choice. And heck, the scene when he tries to destroy the world engine, people did say he does look like Christopher Reeve a little bit, which does make the original actor alive in Cavill. And now for the favorite part about Batman vs Superman. Mainly because since it's the fight between those two, they do have personal reasons on each other. The reason Batman is fighting Superman is only because, ever since the destruction of Metropolis, Batman sees him as a threat ever since the events in this film. So that's why he's fighting against him. And for Superman, reason to fight Batman, I could hardly remember what the reason is, but I do know that there was a reason that Superman sees the Batman. Like, according to the film itself, he always brands criminals. And anybody branded by the Bat brand could get killed, and Superman doesn't approve criminals getting killed, which led to the conflict. And yes, I know the casting choice was inaccurate to choose Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I mean, there could have been anything better. And I'm surprised in the end, and I'm surprised that it's Superman, and it's portrayed by Henry Cavill. I'm surprised Henry Cavill will reprise the Superman in this film to engage against Batman. And as much like Christian Bale's, people did say Affleck kind of portrays the two identities, Bruce Wayne and Batman, which kind of makes him and whatever between Christian Bale and Ben Affleck. Tell me what you think would be the best Batman in the comments below. And of course, speaking of favorite casting, Wonder Woman did kick the backs on villains, since she played a character entrance when Doomsday intervened. And people did like Gal Gadot, which we're going to go over to the fourth installment later on. And regardless of the reviews, it was because of the screenplay and the pacing. And I think at least the only good part of it is that these two have personal reasons to fight each other, and at least we did get to see the fight in the Port of Gotham. The Suicide Squad, although not the favorite, but does only have a little bit of stuff hinting between this film, and we see minor appearances of Batman and the foreshadowing moment of the Justice League. Those are the only favorite parts, because the only favorite part of the film is that it does talk about the death of Superman from this film, And we do see a bit of Batman, and when he chased Deadshot in one scene with his daughter, and when the Joker and Harley Quinn were in the kind of the limousine, and Batman arrested them. And the post-end credits, we do see the same Bruce Wayne that Ben Affleck portrayed in this film acquire the metahuman files, which would have in turn foreshadowed the Justice League. Other than that, not my favorite of the films. And of course, the biggest high score of all DC films, Wonder Woman. Favorite part of the film is it does give us Diana's origins. Because after so long, we never even had a live-action Wonder Woman film. Nobody didn't get to see the origins. Because in some films, they stopped doing the origins, like Spider-Man, Homecoming, and stuff. Obviously because they keep repeating the origins, but this one has not repeated any origins. And this is our first time of seeing Diana's origins. It does have a story where Diana helps in World War, coming alongside Steve Trevor, and the story about stopping Eris. And like the Batman Begins film, the whole Eris thing is a mystery. First, she thought a German lead in general named Linderoth or something was Eris. When she killed him, nothing happened. And then it turns out David Thewlis, who portrays Sir Patrick Morgan, and it turns out David Thewlis' character is the real Eris, and they begin fighting. And yes, people did kind of say it's kind of like the first Captain America of 2011 about the whole World War and a boy named Steve dies in a plane and stuff, and how the main superhero carries a shield, and it is around the 1900s, and conveniently that main character never aged after a century to reach the 21st century. But at least we did get a good story. The favorite story part is when Diana climbs away to get her weapons in Themyscira. Of course, people did like the one. Of course, people did like the one scene in when she was in like Germany or something, doing a scene called No Man's Land, where at first the biggest moment is because Steve was like because the Germans are still shooting with enough firepower they've got, there's nothing they can do to bypass them. Whereas Diana claims she can bypass them because she has arm bracelets and shields that could deflect it. And she bought them time, she bought Steve and their armies time to jump in and attack. And we do see a giant amount of actions on that scene. And of course, the reminiscences of Hans Zimmer's music that he did in Man of Steel and this did come in this film, such as the Wonder Woman theme song. So at least we do a reminiscence of that, which I'm hoping if the Justice League comes out. I just hope the music that we got from Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice and this film do come in the Justice League. And yes, I've read that Danny Elfman is now the main music conductor for the Justice League, and he is going to return to the old theme songs, the Batman themes that he wrote in 1989's Batman, and a reminiscence of Christopher and a reminiscence of John Williams' Superman March. He's going to bring those back. I've read it. I know those do come back and then writes his own themes. I just hope music that Zimmer did for Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice do come back in the Justice League alongside Wonder Woman's theme. And Gal Gadot definitely proved good to kick every villain's backs. And one of the things I found, one of the things that were new to me is that she can absorb lightning with her bracelets when she killed Eris. Yes. And Rupert Gregor, and yes, the music composer is different from these films. Like this one has a different music conductor, this one has a music composer. Rupert Gregerson something, I don't know the name, but he's the music conductor for this film. He did pull up some like dramatic themes such as the No Man's Land and when Diana recapped back to what Steve's final words were before he jumped into the plane. And now the end of this film, we're on our way to the Justice League. So, this one gets from my perspective gets 8 points out of 10. The only 2 points missing is that the 2 points missing is that the tornado scene I know they don't want to do the heart attack. I know they don't want to repeat the whole heart attack thing, but if anything, they could have done anything to represent why Jonathan Kent can't do anything. And I just feel the Krypton could have at least vibrated a little bit at the same time they were gonna put Superman in the transport ship from Krypton to Earth during the beginning of the scene. But other than that, 8 points is enough as it is. This film I only give is like 5 points out of 10. And good. And the only thing that didn't need to be done, the only thing I'm beginning to feel the people is that the Lex Luthor casting, that's for sure. Maybe they could have at least extended the fight between Batman and Superman a little. They could have at least extended the fight between Batman and Superman a little bit. I know there's the Ultimate Edition, but I'm stuck with the theatrical version until then. But I do know how it goes. And I just feel like Lex could have done any ways to motivate Batman and Superman finding each other when Superman found Lex in the helipad. Because as people kept whining about the whole because I've seen comments and stuff. People kept complaining about the whole Martha thing. I just feel like they could have done. I just feel like they could have at least. I feel like Lex could have done something. Could have done better than that. And maybe in the end of the fight, Superman. There could have been one dramatic moment where Batman's about to hit Superman with a kryptonite spear. Superman shoots his eye beams at the spear and then destroys the mech suit, meaning Superman would have won the fight. And maybe after Superman wins the fight, he then tells Batman what he's here to do, what he's here to talk to him about, which is stopping Lex. Then maybe in turn it could make sense that after Superman wins the fight, then they work as partners to stop Lex and his minions, and then not before Doomsday shows up, and then we get to see Wonder Woman's entrance. And for the death of Superman, I don't know. It's up to you to decide. Would the death of Superman in the end of this film be necessary or not? Please comment and if that's necessary. And as for this film, kind of like a 2 out of 10 because I just feel like it's based on like supervillains. This is a story based on supervillains, and it doesn't even look bit related to these films at all. 8 points. The 8 points is because it doesn't look related to these films at all, and 2 points only because there's only reminiscence of it from this film all the way to the Justice League. This film gets 9 points out of 10 because it does definitely beat this film a lot. But the only point missing, I'm not so sure. Maybe I guess I could say the reason it's missing 1 point is because people did kind of say it's kind of like it's kind of like the DC or female version of the first Captain America film, and why I think that, and why I'm concerned about that is because we did have a Captain America film like 6 years before this one would have come out. But other than that, it's not bad. It is a good film alongside Man of Steel and hopefully the Justice League gets good. So that would mean, let's see, 8 points plus 5 points, 13, 2 points, 15, and 9 points, 22. So that's like 22 points out of 40 of this entirety of this 4-film collection of the DC superhero universe. Yes. So I hope you enjoyed what I think about these. I hope you enjoyed what I enjoyed about these films. This is Tahoe Mata 1888 signing off.